the question our colleagues on the other side should be asking is that if we are employing more to produce more, where is the market? Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. My focus will be on strategy to transform Ghana's economy through the 24-hour economy program and how we can deal with our enclave economy. And as a member of the Committee for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration of the Ninth Parliament, I also look at how we can leverage the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement for sustainable development. Mr. Speaker, in the landmark case of Tufo versus Attorney General, Justice Sowa, who was the Chief Justice at the time, delivered a historic judgment that reinforced the supremacy of our Constitution. In fact, he stated, and I quote, "The Constitution has a spirit, and its language must therefore be considered as if it were a living organism capable of growth." Statement by Justice Sowa applies to the 2025 budget. In fact, it must not be seen as mere figures, but as a living blueprint with a spirit or even a soul. It carries the hopes of struggling Ghanaian families, the dreams of young entrepreneurs, and the fate of critical national policies and programs. If this budget is implemented with sincerity, it has the ability to breathe life into the economy that they put on life support. Mr. Speaker, in 2024, we declared a trade surplus of 44.7 billion. Out of the 44.7 billion, we exported about 294 billion and a total import of 250.2 billion. Ghana recorded this trade surplus. However, I agree with those who say our economy is an enclave economy because most of our resources is coming from raw materials which we export without adding value. And the President, in his wisdom, has seen that we exported about 162 billion, representing about 55.3% of our total exports in gold to foreign countries. We exported about 52.58 billion in crude. We exported raw cocoa beans about 21.55 billion. And Mr. Speaker, this did not impact our economy that much because we just exported it. All the companies exporting are foreign owned, and they keep the money in foreign banks and foreign institutions. And that is why most of the mining communities are underdeveloped or poor. And this is why, if you look at the budget for 2025, at page 54, it says that what it implies is that the government will implement a 24-hour economy to boost industrial production, trade, and jobs. If you summarize page 33 and 34, what it says is that the focus will be on reducing imports by encouraging local manufacturing of essential products, and key sectors include agro-processing, pharmaceutical, and textiles to improve Ghana's self-sufficiency. If you look at page 55, it says that Ghana will establish a gold board to ensure that we are refining our gold instead of taking it out in raw. Because, Mr. Speaker, if you look at the year 2024, Mr. Speaker, if you look at the year 2024, we exported about 40% of the 11.6 billion to the United Arab Emirates in raw gold. We didn't add value and we didn't make more out of it. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, the question our colleagues on the other side should be asking is that if we are employing more to produce more, where is the market? Mr. Speaker, the question our colleagues on the other side must be asking is that if you are going to employ more to produce more, where is the market? Because our economy is not big enough to absorb all that we are going to produce. And the answer is with them, because in 2018, on the 10th of May, Ghana and Kenya were the first countries to ratify the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. And so they shouldn't be looking at Ghana only. We should be looking outside Ghana, because the agreement allows us to produce here and take to other countries duty-free. Mr. Speaker, the population of China is 1.4 billion. The population of Africa is 1.4 billion. But the GDP of Africa is 3.4 trillion, and the GDP of China is 17 trillion. And what is worse is that the population of EU is about 449 million, but their GDP is about 20 trillion, because they are adding value, they are employing many people to. Thank you very much.
Speaker, I rise to contribute to the debate on the 2025 budget statement and economic policy of the government of Ghana for the 2025 financial year. Mr. Speaker, as a development finance analyst, there are some key questions that we ask whenever a government presents a budget. Because beyond revealing the revenue and expenditure in this document, the budget also must answer some key questions, including whether or not wealth redistribution is adequately stated in the budget. We also use this to see how the fiscal responsibility and credibility of the government is catered for in the budget. And also, it helps us to better understand the overall policy direction of the government. Mr. Speaker, having gone through this budget as presented by the Finance Minister, Dr. Castle Atoba Folsen, I must say it is a budget that meets all requirements, and it's a budget that indeed revives hope in us as young people of the Republic. Mr. Speaker, let me begin with the education sector, and I will say briefly that with the budgetary allocation to the education sector, it represents 11.89%. It tells you that government is committed to ensuring that SDG 4, which is about ensuring that accessibility, quality, and affordability is achieved in education, is catered for in this budget. And so President Mahama has demonstrated his commitment to the achievement of SDG Goal 4. Again, when you talk about issues of unemployment, Mr. Speaker, I believe that this budget has adequately made provision for the creation of jobs. I have heard my colleagues on the other side, the NPP minority, made arguments about a net freeze on employment. But indeed, Mr. Speaker, one thing that they refuse to let the media know is that the very paragraph that they refer to and say there is a freeze on employment is a paragraph that states that government will ensure that all conditionalities in the IMF agreement are met. We all know, and it is trite knowledge, that the IMF conditionality, or the program that we refer to, is a program that they sign on to. And Mr. Speaker, I must say that when you go to 2022-2023 budget presented by the previous administration, this same paragraph was there, because as part of the IMF conditionalities, there was a net freeze on employment. But President Mahama did not only promise employing young people into the civil service or into the public sector, he promised to create sustainable jobs. Now, in this budget, various allocations have been made to cater for job creation. I will start with the 100 million allocated for the National Codex Program. The Honorable Minister for Communications has already mentioned. Mr. Speaker, the 100 million Codex Program is an innovative and transformational program that will raise 1 million young people, young coders. These people will be equipped with digital skills, and they will be able to generate jobs on their own. We all live, Mr. Speaker, we all live in a digital economy, and the youth bulge in Africa, where predictions are that by 2030, about 2 billion of Africa's youth populations will be young people. It is only through these digital skills that they can be self-sustaining and create jobs for themselves. We also have another 300 million allocated for National Apprenticeship Program. Mr. Speaker, when you come to a constituency like mine,
member conclude.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When you come to a constituency like mine, Ketu North, There are many young people who wish to learn various skills, like they want to be tailors or seamstresses, some want to do hairdressing and all of that. But because of lack of support, they are sitting at home or they are idling about. With a 300 million allocation to the National Apprenticeship Program, Mr. Speaker, a lot of young people in this republic will have the opportunity to learn skills and employ themselves. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I must admit that the budget as presented by Dr. Atto-Forson is a budget of hope. It's a budget that will bring this country back on the path of progress, and it's a budget that will create jobs for the unemployed youth in this country. Thank you for the opportunity. Mama Pat, thank you.